Enid Blyton, The Box of Magic, The Hocus Pocus Collection. The Box of Magic. Once upon a time, when Muddle and Twink, the two brownies, were walking along over Bumblebee Common, they found a strange box lying on the path. Muddle picked it up and opened it. Twink! He cried in amazement. Look! It's full of wishing feathers! Twink looked and whistled in surprise. Jumping buttons, he said. What a find, I say, Muddle. We'll have the time of our lives now, wishing all we want to. Come on, let's hurry home, shall we? And do a bit of wishing? Neither of the two naughty brownies thought that what they really ought to do was to find out who the box of wishing feathers belonged to. No, they simply scurried to their cottage as fast as they ever could, Muddle carrying the box tightly under his arm. They ran in at their little front door and put the box on the table. They took off the lid, and there lay of the wishing feathers, dozens of them. Do you know what a wishing feather is like? It is pink at the bottom, green in the middle, and bright shining silver at the tip. And it smells of cherry pie, so you will always know one by that. Well, there lay the pink, green, and silver feathers, all smelling most deliciously of cherry pie. Twink and Muddle gazed at them in delight. Twink picked up a feather. I wish for a fine, hot treacle pudding, he cried, waving his feather. It at once flew out of the window, and in came a large dish with the steaming hot treacle pudding on it. Unfortunately, Muddle was in the way, and it bumped into his head. The pudding fell off the dish, and the hot treacle went down Muddle's neck. Crash! The dish broke on the floor. Ooh, ooh, wept Muddle. You silly creature! Cried Twink in a rage as he saw his beautiful pudding on the floor. What do you want to get in the way for? Just like you, Muddle, always muddling in everything. You nasty unkind thing, said Muddle fiercely. Why didn't you tell me you're going to wish for a stupid pudding like this? Ooh, I wish the treacle was all down your neck instead of mine. That's what I wish. A wishing feather flew from the box and out of the window as Muddle said this, and the treacle down his neck vanished and appeared all round poor Twink's neck. How he yelled! I hate you, he shouted to Muddle, trying to wipe away the treacle. I wish you were a frog and had a duck after you. A wishing feather flew out of the window once more, and my goodness me! Muddle disappeared, and in his place came a large green frog, who shouted angrily in Muddle's voice. Just behind him appeared a big white duck, saying quack quack in excitement as she saw the frog. Then hoppity hop went Muddle all round the room, trying to escape the duck. Twink laughed till the tears ran down his face and mixed with the treacle. Oh, you wicked rouge! Shouted Froggy Muddle. I wish you were a canary with a cat after you. Oh dear! Immediately poor Twink disappeared, and in his place appeared a bright yellow canary, rather larger than an ordinary one. Just behind came a big tabby cat, saying meow meow excitedly at the sight of the canary. Then what to do? There was Muddle, still a frog, was trying to escape the duck, and Twink, a canary, was trying to fly away from the pouncing cat. Neither of the two had any breath for wishes, and what would have happened to them? Goodness knows, if the cat hadn't suddenly seen the duck. Meow, it said, and pounced after the waddling duck with the quack of fright. The white bird waddled out of the cottage, the cat after her. As soon as they went out of the door, they disappeared into smoke. It was most strange. The frog and the canary looked at one themselves. They felt rather ashamed of themselves. I wish we were both our ordinary selves again, said Muddle, in rather a small voice. At once the frog and the canary disappeared, and the two brownies stood looking at one another. This sort of thing won't do, said Twink. We shall waste all the wishing feathers if we do things like this. You know, Muddle? Well, let's wish for something sensible now, said Muddle. What about wishing for a nice, big, friendly dog, Twink? We have always wanted a dog, you know. This is our chance. All right, said Twink. Let's wish for a black and white one, shall we? No, I'd rather it was a brown and white one, said Muddle. I like that kind best. Well, I prefer a black and white dog one, said Twink. I wish for a black and white dog. Immediately, a large black and white dog appeared and wagged its tail at the brownies. I wish you to be brown and white, said Muddle at once. Scowling at his friend, the dog obligingly changed its color from black to brown. Twink was furious. I wish you to be black and white, he yelled. The dog changed again, looking rather astonished. Now, don't let's be silly, said Muddle, trying to keep his temper. I tell you, Twink, a dog is nicer if it is brown and white. I wish it to be. Stop, said Twink fiercely. It's my dog. I won't have you changing its color like this. Wish for a dog of your own if you want to, but don't keep interfering with mine. I wish for a brown and white dog, said Muddle at once. A large brown and white dog immediately walked in at the door, wagging its tail in a most friendly fashion. But as soon as the black and white one saw it, it began to growl very fiercely and showed its teeth. Grrr, it said. Grrr, the other dog said back. The black and white dog then flew at the other and tried to bite it. Call off your horrid dog, yelled Muddle to Twink. It's biting mine. Oh, look at it. Well, you should have been content with one dog, said Twink. You see, my dog thinks this is its home, and it won't let a strange dog come in. Quite right, too. It's a good dog. It isn't, cried Muddle. Oh dear, do call off your dog, Twink. Look, it's biting the tail of mine. Of course it is, said Twink. I tell you, mine is a very good fierce dog. Tell your dog to go away, then it won't get hurt. Why should I? Shouted Muddle, in a temper again. My dog has as much right as yours to be here. Isn't this my home as much as yours? Then my dog can live here if I say so. Oh, look, your dog has bitten my dog's collar in half. Muddle was in such a rage that he ran to Twink's dog, his hand raised as if he wanted to smack it. The dog at once turned round and growled and tried to bite Muddle, who jumped away and ran round the room. The dog, thinking it was a game, ran after him, and Muddle was very much frightened. Call him off, he yelled. But Twink sat down on the sofa and laughed till the tears ran down his long nose. He thought it was a funny sight to see Muddle being chased by his dog. I wish my dog would go and bite you, you horrid thing, yelled Muddle. Then it was Twinkle's turn to jump up and run, for the brown and white dog ran at Twink, showing all its white teeth. Twink ran out of the cottage, followed by a snapping dog, and Muddle ran out of there too, the other dog trying to nip his leg. Oh, cried Twink, as he was bitten on the hand. Ooh, yelled Muddle, as he was nipped in the leg. I wish the dogs weren't here anymore. I wish we haven't got those horrid wishing feathers that seem to make things go all wrong. In an instant, the two dogs vanished, and the box of feathers sailed away. There, back to the Green Wizard, who had lost them that morning. The two brownies stood looking at one another, Twink holding his hand and Muddle holding his leg. The dogs are gone, but they have left their bites behind them, groaned Muddle. Why didn't you wish those away too, Twink? The feathers have gone now, so we can't do any more wishing. Well, our wishing didn't do us any good, did it? Said Twink. Come on in, Muddle, and let us bathe the bites. We have behaved badly, and we deserve our punishment. My goodness, if I find wishing feathers again, I'll be more sensible, won't you? Rather, said Muddle, limping indoors. But I don't expect they ever will find such a thing again, do you?